we can see that their words and statements don't match up with the truth and facts, and that is another perjury charge, and then I could even have more charges in it if there's other crimes that are exposed. This is coming. Apparently Monday is going to be a big day for this. I'm kind of thinking that the judge is going to rule that he has to go and sit in front and you know, he can't challenge that subpoena from the GOP. But if anything, it's all stall and delay right now because they're going to try their best to wait until the House changes to a Democrat majority in January. So this is what's going on, guys. You can do the math. If you guys have any other math that I missed, you know, like check your work. If you guys have any of that, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to go and read through at the end of this video and hear what you guys have to say. Okay, so that's that. Now the next one is basically this Q post, right? It is this Q post right here, and this lays out everything. It lays out what Mueller was designed to do. It lays out why it was so important to get Justice Kavanaugh confirmed. It lays out everything. Like when Lindsey Graham had his interaction with Justice Kavanaugh, when they were doing the confirmation process and the hearings, he had that little conversation with him about military law versus criminal law, and what constitutes being an enemy combatant, and how they can be actually held in a different judicial system than what normal civil criminal law would cover, right? It would be in a more military tribunal set, but even if that were the case, if you take and put other high-ranking officials into that military law, they could still appeal to the Supreme Court. Obviously, the Supreme Court having that 5-4 majority was important, but I'm going to read it really quick. How do you ensure those prosecuted non-military would receive an impartial judgment based on the rule of law? Think federal judge rulings of obstruction. POTUS granted constitutional authority. How do you ensure appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court are evaluated impartially based on the rule of law? Think Justice K, 5-4. Military law versus criminal law. Enemy combatant, quote unquote. How do you navigate around installed blockade? Okay, Mueller designed to take in evidence needed to expose the deep state, the Department of Justice blocking regarding Mueller evidence ongoing investigation. So they're bringing in evidence that would expose the deep state in order to keep that evidence from getting to Congress, and they can say that it's classified as part of an ongoing investigation. Next, Mueller designed to limit POTUS's ability to maneuver, of course, because of President Trump. Like, look at what he's had to do. Now, I'm not saying that this is all because of Mueller, and I know that the Russians have said it, but look at what's happened with our relationship with Russia and how it's continued to seemingly deteriorate at times based off of the fact of this hoax that's being perpetrated against our president. And so that's where I'll leave that. Mueller designed to stall for time until midterm elections to terminate all House, Senate ongoing investigations. So obviously, like we've said before, he can hold all that evidence in his investigation, keep it away from Congress, keep it away from anyone who can effectively make a change or make a difference. And then once they take over the House, poof, gone, disappeared, right? Swept right under the rug. It says, Mueller designed to safeguard Democrat Party base false narrative regarding Russia collusion, POTUS cheated evil Skyfall in effort to divide and mobilize for future protests, riots, threats, violence, false flag, etc. Now, obviously, that's self-explanatory. I mean, when you put Mueller in there and you have him investigating for 2 years this Russian collusion, and I put up air quotes, you guys didn't see that, but when you have him doing that, it's basically a complete, you know, a misdirection. It's like, look over here, don't look over here while we, you know, rob the country blind and are corrupt and cheating. Look at President Trump, and he had Russian dressing on a salad one time. Anyway, it says, Mueller designed to provide fake news with ammunition to sway public opinion, obstruct foreign plus domestic agenda, fuel impeachment removal, fuel anti-POTUS. That's it. That's what it is. I mean, it's feeding that fake news beast that's been created. Division, prevent unity, etc. They're trying to instill division. And it says, Mueller designed to demonstrate to foreign players that the old guard still pulls strings. Now, that's another great point, is that what Mueller's investigation has effectively done for quite some time now is convinced other leaders around the world that this, whatever you want to call it, the deep state, whoever, that they still have the old guard, as Q calls it, that they still have control. President Trump doesn't, and that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, outside of the will of the American people and their democratically elected president. They can just do it unilaterally, like an authoritarian regime around us. Isn't that great? Yeah. Now, it says Mueller designed to mobilize Democratic Party for midterm vote win. Of course, that helped in the House. It didn't work in the Senate. So there you go. Mueller designed to push Democratic Party backers to donate GoFundMe to Democratic Party. Yes, we all have seen that. The Democratic Party has raised more money than anyone, yet they don't seem to win that many elections. So it's kind of an interesting paradigm that's being created over there. Mueller designed as public outcry excuse should criminal charges be brought against them. We are being politically attacked because Mueller. Don't you see it? But it's so true. The whole thing is that Mueller's harboring all that information. He's protecting all the evidence. And then when President Trump or his DOJ or FBI, whoever, goes after these individuals, meaning, unseals indictments and says, you have committed this crime and this is the evidence we have, we're going to take this to court and you will have your day in court to defend your plea. But no. What they're going to be able to say is, oh, look, he's going after his political enemies. Don't you see? He's like Stalin. He's like Mao. He's taken over. This is the fascist takeover of our government. No, when in reality, all we're doing, and we're with the president, mind you, all of us out here, most of us who are logical and rationally minded, we're just saying we want the equal application of law, especially for those who thought they were above it. Because nobody's above the law in this country, and that's something we have to remember. Now it says, how do you remove it says, how do you remove installed blockade? D-class. How do you navigate around installed corrupt FBI DOJ? Use a stealth bomber. Matthew Whitaker, who must authorize firing FBI DOJ officials? Why did McCabe try to take Sessions out? And then it's what was the Senate confirmation of Sessions, so on and so forth, right? Okay. Regardless, this is perfect because it lays everything out. It shows you what Mueller's trying to do, and I think I walked through this pretty well, and it shows you what's to come. So that's why Q's pointing us back to it, I think. I think it's as simple as that. Q says, regarding Mueller, do you understand? 5-5. Q, like 5-5, loud and clear. Do you get this? Q's already laid this out for us. Q's already showed us what's going to happen. And it's up to us to put together the puzzle pieces and say, this is what is happening and this is where we're heading. And it's getting incredible, guys. It gets more and more incredible every day, I can tell you that. Now, the next one is an anon who posts saying, Mueller will be D-class, and Q responds, Mueller will face charges regarding Uranium One. He's working to save himself, Q. That is the most bombshell revelation I think we've gotten about Mueller yet. Because what Q's telling us is that Bob Mueller is very much aware that this investigation into Uranium One is picking up steam with these whistleblowers who are coming out against the Clinton Foundation, and those whistleblowers may implicate Bob Mueller himself. Therefore, Bob Mueller may just want to start worrying about himself rather than pushing this Russian hoax. That's my opinion. We'll have to see where the facts lay when all's said and done. But guys, that is what Q is telling us, okay? Now, the next one here is Q responding to his own post saying, why do the Clintons remain in control of many still in power? Blackmail. The Clinton family is working overtime. Panic in D.C. and nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing, Q. Guys, I'm not saying this. These are Q's words. And if you believe that Q is military intelligence, President Trump, his administration, those around him, I trust the president. I trust this information source. I've spent a lot of time studying this, over a year, or almost a year now, doing this. And I can tell you right now that this information is what Q is telling us. I'm just reporting it to you, but it's quite compelling if you look at it in its entirety, as I have from the beginning. Now, what is this suggesting? It's obviously saying the Clinton machine is still alive and doing great. And all the stuff that all that political clout that they have gained over the decades, all of those little pieces of information about certain players that they've picked up over time, they're still wielding, and they're doing it without anyone really contesting them up till now with this Huber thing. And that's why I think Q wants whoever leaked that out to kind of back off because this is the news story, right? Where we're going to actually shift it. And Robert Mueller, the declassification in Mueller in this Uranium One investigation will be the end of the Mueller probe, I think. I think that's what Q's getting at. And it says the Clinton family is working overtime. I'm sure they are. Okay? So, the next one here is an Anon posting this. Says, new Clinton Foundation whistleblower to be announced next Monday. In a discussion between Hannity, John Solomon, and Sarah Carter, something new came to light about the Clinton Foundation investigation. Now, Hannity, there's something percolating that will probably break Monday. You're both smiling. Do either one of you want to give the audience, well, a little heads up? John Solomon. I'll give you some breaking news right now, Sean. First, 2 hours ago, federal prosecutors assigned to John Huber, the Utah U.S. attorney investigating the Clintons, reached out to a whistleblower in the Clinton Foundation. This is the first time we've seen contact between a Clinton Foundation whistleblower and that particular federal office. And he says that just happened tonight. Hannity says, are you talking about the one whose home was raided? John Solomon. No. This is a different whistleblower. You will learn a lot on Monday, I bet you. Hannity, all right, well, we'll learn a lot on Monday. Sarah, last word. Sarah, we need to keep our eyes. Hannity, what's the preview of Monday's coming attraction? Sarah, I think we've got a lot to look forward to on Mondays, Sean. And I think the American people are going to see that there was something happening behind the scenes as the FBI, I think I should say FBI, excuse me, as the FBI, or at the FBI, as well as the Department of Justice and Michael Horowitz has been doing a very deep dive into this. There's going to be a lot of breaking news in the next month and in the months to come. Hannity, amazing. You're a boomerang. We were right all along. It continues. I think Q even said it a while ago, which is crazy. So now 2020, it's kind of like a hindsight thing, I think, like 5/5, 2020. And gives this video, I'll leave a link to this in the description. This is actually the clip. You guys can find the clip at like the 20-minute mark if you guys want to watch that little exchange between Sarah Carter, John Solomon, and Sean Hannity. But I mean, what are they saying? I mean, it's in Q response saying, future will prove past. History books, justice, enjoy the show, Q. Well, obviously what you heard is pretty straightforward. John Solomon says, look, there's another whistleblower coming out who's going to expose more information about Hillary Clinton and the Uranium One investigation and scandal. That is not the guy that we looked at in the beginning of this video. Not the guy who's already been named and had his basically home raided by the FBI. Right? So, the plot thickens. It surely does. Alright, so there you go. Now the next one here is Vice President, Mike Pence, putting this picture on his Twitter, which you guys can see here. That's a Q on this gentleman's. This guy is the most awesome dude ever. He's a SWAT sheriff, Sergeant M. Patton. Seems like an awesome guy. If you're out there and you're a fan of the show, reach out to me an email, justinformedtalk@gmail.com. But I'd love to have you on and discuss what happened here. But look, this guy's wearing a patch. I think it even says maybe where we go when we go all or something to that effect there, but it's got a Q on it. And Vice President Pence put this on his Twitter, and it just got real. Q says, it's spreading. We the people. Q. Now, all for a LARP. That's what Anon put in there. And then the next one is talking about something we covered in the last episode. Okay, so the last episode we did was right here where we talked about the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Chongqing, which is in China. It's a hotel. He gave us that picture, and it had a stringer, and then it said, we know, and the implication obviously being that something was happening there and that they were aware of it. And they wanted somebody else to know that they were very aware of it as well. Now, with that being said, Q says, Anon's geolocated last pick, Chongqing, China. So we got it right. It's the Hyatt Regency. Q wants us to know there are 8 players involved. Watch the news. Q. Who are these 8 players? We know that Q's mentioned Dianne Feinstein traveling to China. We know that Q's made several references to China and Apple. Who are the 8 players in that hotel having a meeting or having a discussion or doing something. That's going to be it. We're going to have to watch the news. Maybe we'll get more insight into that. That's something that surely future will prove past. And again, Q here responding to his own post, giving us this picture, of course, of Air China. An Air China flight, obviously a flight either leaving China or arriving in China. And yeah, there you go. I mean, that's plain and clear, simple, as clear as day, plain and simple. Q's making the reference that somebody's either left or arrived in China, and that this is related directly, in my opinion, to the hotel and 8 people. Were they on this flight? Were they on this Air China flight? When was this picture taken? There's so many questions I have, but not enough answers. But it says 2576. So all you anons out there, I think 2576 is the flight number, because that's what they usually are. So if you can find the Air China flight that went, there's a very good chance that we can figure out who was on that flight and what 8 players we might be looking at. Now, the next one here says, it's an older Q post from October 6th, where it says, "Look here, Russia, do not look here, China," and it gives us a link to the YouTube video where Mike Pence gives remarks, Vice President Pence gives remarks on China. It's 43 minutes, Q says it's worth your time. Fake news will never report. Important to understand going forward. Facts matter. Q. Okay, so obviously Mike Pence is one of the guys that we're focusing on here, obviously with this picture and all of this. But I think the real message here is about China. It's saying, look, everything is about China. We don't. The media wants you to look at Russia. The mainstream media is wants you to look at Russia. The deep state, all the players, the old guard, as Q calls them, wants you to look at Russia and connect President Trump to Russia and paint them out as our arch nemesis, or nemesi. I don't know how that's the plural, but it's saying don't look at China, and look at what's happening in China, guys. There's so much happening. We're in the middle of this trade war. China's cracking down on its own population. China has become very, very much entrenched in this new thought. The Communist Party in China has moved away from the Maoist communism, and they're moving into this authoritarian dictatorship of Xi Jinping, and it's all about Xi Jinping thought. So they saw the failures of communism, and I think that what China is starting to do is they're starting to make this metamorphosis into more of authoritarian fascism than they are into this to stay in their lane where they have been with this communist socialism that's like a mixture of capitalism. So we have to look at this. This is going to be one of our biggest threats in the future. I think as a country, it's just going to be one of the main countries that we're going to have to compete with in the future, and that we're going to have to work to have peace with. And Q's right, the news will never report this, and we have to be the ones that bring it to the forefront here when we go through this information. Now, the next one here is an anon who gives a screenshot of the Washington Post article, which talks about Mike Pence sharing a picture of himself meeting a SWAT officer with a QAnon conspiracy patch. Now, the article goes on to talk about how Vice President Mike Pence had to delete the post. I don't know if he had to. He did. Q says, I'm not going to click this link because, like I said, you guys see the article here. There's no point in reading it. But it says, what a coincidence. Why is the Washington Post leading the attack regarding Q? How many articles have been written regarding Q? Who owns the Washington Post? Who funds the Washington Post? All for a LARP? Q. Now, we all know Jeff Bezos owns and funds the Washington Post. Or Jeff Bezos owns it, the CIA funds it. We know that relationship was established a long time ago, even before Jeff Bezos owned the paper, as I understand it, and going back to the original owners. But with that being said, let's go right into the next post where Q responds to his own post here with this article. The post we just read gives us this article, which is from The Atlantic, and it talks about how the CIA has made this huge $600 million deal with Amazon. Who is behind all of this disinformation that keeps coming out of the Washington Post? Q's telling us it's probably a combination of Jeff Bezos and the CIA. That's what Q's saying. I'm just reporting it to you. Now, the next one here, the last two, and these are incredible. First, we have this. An anon post about what we just went over with the Q, with how Vice President Pence put the picture picture up of the Q SWAT guy on his Twitter, and now every outlet is running with it. Q gives us this link to Bing, and it basically shows all of these articles that are coming out now. Pence shares pictures of him meeting a SWAT officer wearing a QAnon patch. Pence tweets deletes photos with sheriff's deputy and QAnon patch. So on and so forth. You get the idea. The mainstream media has run with this, and now they're going to call out QAnon. Well, good. Keep calling QAnon out, and we're going to keep exposing the truth. So you guys have fun with that, while we just keep working hard and diligently biding our time as we expose what has happened to our government. That's what Q wants us to look at. Now, next one's actually unfortunate. I don't take pleasure in this kind of stuff, but it happens. And it gave this tweet. Now, this tweet is from Good Job Joe M at Storm is Upon Us. He says, did Herbert Walker die? As in George Herbert Walker Bush, the first Bush president, who was formerly the head of the CIA and has been quite controversial, to say the least, with a lot of the implications. So basically, it's this James Comey tweet about his dog passing away, I guess, back on the 14th of November. And it says, did Herbert Walker die? So, of course, that is here on the cover of Drudge. George Herbert Walker Bush has passed away in Texas today. God rest his soul, obviously. It's up to God to judge, not me. And now he has to face his final judgment. So I'm not the type of person that takes delight in seeing others go through this, and all I can say is, it is what it is, and this is the report that we're getting. But Q says this regarding George H.W. Bush. United States Secret Service codename Timberwolf. I guess that was George Herbert Walker Bush's codename, Timberwolf. And it says, the gray wolf, Canis lupus, also known as Timberwolf, shares a common ancestry with the domestic dog. State funeral next week, coincidence Q. Now, if you guys don't understand what that's saying, every dog has its day. Now, that is referring directly to what happened with John McCain. When John McCain passed away suddenly, due to his tumor that he had or whatever, right before his passing, Q gave us this post saying every dog has its day. Then John McCain, or No Name, whatever, ended up passing on National Dog Day. Coincidence? I don't know. But there's a common ancestry that we're being pointed to between George Bush and John McCain, I think. And you guys can do with that as you may. Your imagination may have to take over, and you'll have to fill in some of those blanks, because I can't do that for you. But that is the state of affairs, and I thought I'd bring you this information, and I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. Now, stick around for one more minute. There's a few ways you can help out the channel. Obviously, the first best way to do it is to come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you bell for notifications, watch these videos, share these videos on your social media, get the information out there. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts, theories, and insights. I want to hear what you guys have to say about all this. And if you want to support me over on Twitter, that's great. You can come find me at Justin_formed on Twitter. You can come over here, give me a follow. All the posts get put up over here. You get all my funny tweets, all that cool stuff, and all that information. Now, JustinFormedNews.com. Again, that's JustinFormedNews, just like I spelled up here, .com, has all your links. It's got news feeds. It's got posts. It's got links to the YouTube channel here. It's got links to find the Q posts. It's got links to the direct board that is being posted to by Q. And it's got all these news sites. If you guys want to have a good starting point, I'm not saying everything on these news sites is 100% accurate or whatever. I'm just saying this is a good starting point for people who want to get off of the mainstream media. So come here, check out JustinFormedNews.com for that, and I hope that helps. Also, don't forget, guys, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. on December 6th through 8th. I'm actually going to be there on the 5th. So right when Q said, isn't it funny? I've said this before. How serendipitous is life that I will be in D.C. when all of this happens. It's almost like it's been coordinated. I'm not going to get into any speculation. If you guys want to be there for history, I do encourage you to come here. There's still tickets, I believe. You can come here to AmericanPriority.com. It's going to be at the Marriott Hotel in D.C. December 6th through 8th. And if you guys didn't see in the news today, guess what? Marriott Hotel has the biggest hack ever that was reported on, and that's where we're holding our conference. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Hey guys, come check it out. Come here to AmericanPriority.com. Click this button to register. All you have to do is take a ticket, come to the conference. You can use the discount code Where We Going with All, or just WWG1, WGA. It'll get you a good discount on your ticket, and you can come here, and like I said, guys, come to support the cause. Wear your Q stuff. I'm going to be doing a free speech breakout, and I'm going to be basically doing a lot of networking, meeting a lot of people, and it's going to be a great time, but it's all because of your support. If you guys didn't support the channel, I couldn't do this. I couldn't just travel to Washington and spend all this time in a conference. So if you guys want to help the channel out, another great way to do it is to come over here to Patreon, patreon.com, search Just Informed Talk, hit this button to become a patron. It's a monthly donation. You can give as little as $1 or as much as you like. You set it and forget it, and it automatically deducts every month, and it helps keep this channel alive and running, especially in the face of demonetization, which is very real. And I just really appreciate all your support. If you guys aren't interested in doing a monthly donation, I have this GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/just-informed. Links to both Patreon and GoFundMe will be in the descriptions. When you come to this page, click the Donate Now button. Once you do that, you can make a one-time donation, and you can make it anonymously, and that helps out the channel more than you guys will ever know. So thank you. Before we go, I know I'm trying to wrap this up into a neat little neat little package here, but I want to talk about God's grace and how it's truly greater. And for that, I'm going to talk about this piece of scripture that I picked out for this reading. And you guys always hear me talk about how you should become a light in the world. What does that really mean? Well, I say, when you get closer to God, when you have God's love in your heart, it's like lighting a fire in your soul. And then the more you believe, and the more your faith strengthens, and the more you commit yourself to God every day, that flame grows, and it becomes a light that shines out into the world. Now, when that light shines out into the world, you can change others' lives, other people's lives, simply by showing them that God is good, and that God loves them too, and that God has blessed us to be able to help them receive their blessings. And that's what this whole life is about, is doing for one another, and standing up for what is right, and being men and women of integrity, and honesty, and righteousness. And even though we may falter, even though we may stumble, even though we are imperfect and we do sin and we know it, we come to God every day bearing our souls, bearing our lives, bearing our souls with complete humility before Him, and saying, God, I understand this is your will. I understand this is your plan. I understand that everything we do is for you. So come, please, Lord, and guide me. Give me the strength and courage and wisdom to do what is right, always. So about being a light in the world, I want to read this piece of scripture. I know we've covered it before, but it's so important to reiterate this message sometimes. And it's from Philippians. And of course, it's chapter 2, verses 12 through 18. It says, "So then, my dear friends, just as
people will learn about the insurance policy. They'll finally learn the insurance policy that Strzok and Page put together. They'll learn what it is. So remember when we came out and said the bulk of the FISA was made up of the phony dossier and the fake news? Well, we went in and we began to look at that other information. We found out that it too was not only phony, but I think also as concerning, if not more concerning, than the original information that was used in the Christopher Steele dossier.
I hope beyond the Steele dossier, there was a very troubling effort to come up with other evidence that would corroborate the Steele dossier that was suspect, and it was just as bad evidence, and this evidence was worse in quality, and yet it wasn't disclosed properly to the FISA court. We may have two corrupt lines of evidence flowing in to try to justify this investigation.
Welcome to the BCP channel. I am your host, BCP. Today is December 1st, and I've been saying on this channel for a long time now that 2018, by the end of this year, we're going to see some major drainage of the swamp. And that is already starting to happen. Today, I want to just report to you this blockbuster news that thanks to Devin Nunes, Representative Devin Nunes of my home state of California, and additional digging done by John Solomon of the Hill, we now know that the Steele dossier, the Christopher Steele PP dossier, wasn't the only fake evidence that the deep state used to procure a FISA warrant or their FISA warrants. There was another line, another prong of attack, another fake evidence that they were using to further their devious plot to undermine the will of the people in electing Donald John Trump as our president. This is huge news, and let's talk about it right now.
Thanks for joining us on the Black is Zero Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
In California is House Intelligence Committee Chairman, and that's California Congressman Devin Nunes.
Now, one thing I do enjoy watching are congressmen and senators when in interviews they let very important information either leak out or they give us extra clues to what's going on. But in this exchange that Hannity had with Devin Nunes, it is pretty straightforward that in addition to the fake Christopher Steele PP dossier, there was another fake dossier, if you will, or fake evidence that they were peddling to the FISA courts that we have not seen yet. Now, I know my wacky state of California usually gives the nation nut jobs like Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and our current governor and future governor. But I'll tell you, California has produced one hell of an American patriot in Congress in the form of Devin Gerald Nunes.
I think what I'd like to see is with the Mueller probe is some kind of probe into Christopher Steele and the Clinton campaign and those Russians.
Did you catch that? Christopher Steele, the Clintons, and those Russians. What is he referring to exactly when he's talking about Christopher Steele, the Clintons, and those Russians? I'm actually going to tackle that in my next video, but I wanted to kind of bring it up now so it's in the back of your head, so that's in your consciousness, that there are other Russians involved with Christopher Steele and the Clintons. But that's not the topic of this video, but I will address it in the next one.
That's what's really disappointed me about all this. Also, who leaked General Flynn's name?
There is still so much we don't know about the deep state's attack on General Flynn. We do know that he was the first major casualty of this fake Russian collusion investigation / probe / hoax. And we know why. General Flynn is about as good of a guy as they come. He knows where the bodies are buried, and he knows which closets have which skeletons. It was very, very important. It was imperative that the Clinton crime mafia, the Bush senior CIA mob, and all their cohorts, co-conspirators, minions, and enablers get General Flynn out of the White House to protect their crimes. This next little part I'm going to break up because he says a lot of things and there's a lot of nuggets in here for us patriots to consider. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat that I think one of the strategies that the stable genius, our beloved and duly elected President Donald John Trump, is holding back the FISA documents because it's not yet the strategic time to do it. I think he's going to let other things happen, like the D5 Clinton Foundation hearings, let Comey and Lynch bury themselves. Then he's going to release it later on.
I think there's some reluctance in the White House to actually go out and release all the documents.
Whenever President Trump releases the FISA documents, it's going to be strategic. It's going to bring down the House. It's going to expose and blow this thing wide open as far as exposing the treachery and the treason of the Democrat Party and the deep state intelligence community in trying to undermine the American elections and electoral process and the will of the people. And why do I say that? Because that's what President Trump has been saying.
The president also said in an interview that if they harass him, he thinks it'll be the best thing that ever happens to him. They'll be able to counterpunch him. But he says he'll also declassify FISA warrant applications and other things that would be devastating to the Democrats. But he's holding off until he needs to use those documents.
Now let's get back to Sean Hannity's conversation with Representative Devin Nunes. And just as a reminder for those who have forgotten, Devin Nunes is the chairman of the United States House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. So he's seen a lot of the things and he has a lot more information than he's able to outright say. But I want you to please pay attention to what he says, and especially, and I'm going to come back to it, the third and fourth buckets.
The 4 buckets now, as we call them, of the Carter Page FISA, the third renewal. We have the Bruce Orr 302s, we have the exculpatory evidence, and now we also have a 4th bucket of emails that the FBI was sending around that shows that clearly they knew what they were doing before they went to the FISA court.
All right, my fellow patriots and my lovers of liberty and the rule of law. I'm going to play this next clip, and I'm not going to cut into it like I sometimes do to break it down. I'm just going to tell you what to look for. I want you to pay attention. Representative Devin Nunes is letting us know for the first time, never heard this anywhere else, that in addition to the Steele dossier, there was another set of false evidences, another dossier that they were using to try to bring down then candidate Trump, then President Trump, and President-elect Trump. Never heard this before. Representative Nunes is letting it slide.
All the information that we've uncovered for the last 2 years, it would give finality to everyone who wants to know exactly what their government did to a political campaign. That's why we want this FISA out there. I always talk about this last FISA because people will learn about the insurance policy. They'll finally learn the insurance policy that Strzok and Page put together. They'll learn what it is.
The Russia investigation?
But what we believe the insurance policy is what's remaining in the last FISA that no one knows yet. So remember when we came out and said the bulk of the FISA was made up of the phony dossier and the fake news, and then you had all of these people scramble around and say, no, there was all this other information. Well, we went in and we began to look at that other information, and we found out that it too was not only phony, but I think also as concerning, if not more concerning, than the original information that was used in the Christopher Steele dossier.
I hope. Whoa, my mind is blown. Not only did they have this fake Christopher Steele PP dossier, they had other documents, items that Representative Devin Nunes is saying is worse than the Christopher Steele dossier. And if you recall a few clips ago, I put it for you on that third and fourth bucket. That fourth bucket, they have proof via emails of the FBI that they knew exactly what they were doing in their attempt, and you could say their success, in fooling the FISA courts. So let's just step back a moment, folks, and let's think how heavy this is and what the repercussions are here. The FBI, the DOJ, and the intelligence community were not only working with Fusion GPS and this PP dossier that was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, but they also had other worse and more fake documents that they were working on as well. And that is what Devin Nunes is saying is the insurance policy that Peter Strzok and Lisa Page were talking about in their emails and texts back and forth. They weren't just depending on one fake item, they had a second one, which we, Johnny Public, are yet to see, that has not yet been revealed yet. But remember, he talked about that fourth bucket. Obviously, this was a two-prong attack that was being coordinated by the FBI to deceive the FISA courts and therefore deceive the people. The Hill's John Solomon also went digging into this, and what he says and how he sums it up pretty much tells us everything we need to know.
Beyond the Steele dossier, there was a very troubling effort to come up with other evidence that would corroborate the Steele dossier that was suspect, and it was just as bad evidence, and it might have also included exculpatory information that had been hidden. This evidence was worse in quality and perhaps also had more exculpatory information, and yet it wasn't disclosed properly to the FISA court. We may have two corrupt lines of evidence flowing in to try to justify this investigation.
Wow, folks, just wow. The Steele dossier wasn't the only fake dossier, fake document, fake line of attack to bring down Donald J. Trump's candidacy and then later presidency. The supposed insurance policy that Strzok and Page are talking about was not the Christopher Steele dossier, but was another fake and worse than the Steele dossier attack or other line or other option that they were pursuing against we the American people. Think about this. This shows the level of deception, of treason, of treachery of these deep state puppets. This shows that the intelligence community, the FBI, the Department of Justice, with Fusion GPS and the Hillary Clinton campaign were all colluding to bring down not just a legitimate candidate, Donald John Trump, for the president, but the insurance policy was also to delegitimize his presidency once he got in. And it wasn't just the Steele dossier. They had another plan or another method worse than the Steele dossier that they were going to use. And the discovery of this information, the discovery of this other fake line of evidence actually contains information that would have totally absolved President Trump of any wrongdoing, and we would never have this Russian investigation hoax. Incredible, folks. Incredible, folks. But there's more, and I will tackle that in the next video. This is Black Conservative Patriot. God bless America. God bless you, my fellow patriot. And God bless our duly elected and beloved President, Donald John Trump. Share this video. Get this out there. People need to know that the deep state wasn't just relying on this fake PP dossier, but they had a whole other slew, a whole other line, a whole other method, a whole other plot. Worse than this one that was just as fake to bring down our president. This needs to be known by everyone.
Thanks for joining us on the Black Conservative Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos, there'll be one in each one of these four corners, from the most trending video to my most previous video and other videos that are similar to this topic that you may find interesting. Also, if you want to support this channel and get some more content that's exclusive that you won't find on this platform, just go to bcpextras.com. bcpextras.com. We'll see you in the next video. Black Conservative Patriot here. I don't generally mean, but when I do, it looks like this. Just in case you didn't catch that brilliant move by the stable genius against Bob Mueller, let me break it down for you.
The president also said in an interview that if they harass him, he thinks it'll be the best thing that ever happens to him. They'll be able to counterpunch him. But he says he'll also declassify FISA warrant applications and other things that would be devastating to the Democrats.
Thanks for joining us on the Black is Your Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
This clip of Obama was trending where he is once again self-congratulating and patting himself on the back and giving himself credit for accomplishments that, of course, lead back to our beloved and duly elected president, Donald John Trump. But in true megalomaniac fashion, Obama's taking credit yet again for President Trump's accomplishment, this time oil. But you know, this is the BCP channel, so I'm not going to give you the obvious. I'm going to break down some of the things that you might have missed when you listened to this clip. So let's get into it.
I was extraordinarily proud of the Paris Accords.
Only a true globalist Marxist like Obama would utter those words that they're proud of their work on the Paris Accords. Let me translate that for you. What BHO is actually saying is, I'm proud of putting America, American businesses, and American workers at a disadvantage by holding them up to a higher standard of environmental regulations in other countries so they can have an advantage over us and produce goods and services at a cheaper rate and disadvantage our workers. I'm proud of my work on that. That is what Obama's really saying.
Because, look, I know, I know we're an oil country, and we need American energy, and by the way, American energy production. You wouldn't always know it, but it went up every year I was president. And that whole suddenly America's like the biggest oil producer and the biggest that was me, people. I just want you to it's a little like, sometimes you go to Wall Street and folks will be grumbling about anti-business. And I say, have you checked where your stocks were when I came in office and where they are now? What are you talking? What are you complaining about? Just say thank you, please.
Now, I have the best subscribers on this channel and on my backup channel. And I put this video, the whole video, the whole minute clip on my backup channel. Going forward, if you want to see most, probably not all, but many of the clips that I'll be using on this channel, a lot of people say, oh, BCP, I like your commentary, but I would like to have seen the entire clip. Well, always check my backup channel because often I'll put the full, unedited, uncommented, without my commentary clip on my backup channel. But I got some of the greatest, funniest comments that pretty much sum it up. Mr. N says, you have to be really special kind of a-hole to take someone else's accomplishments. The crowd has to be extra dumber to eat it up. But hey, I'm just a random voice on the internet. No, I think we all feel the same way, right? And then Betty Pierce says, I don't have anything polite or family-friendly to say. And I joke about that all the time. Listening to these leftist Marxists gives me uncontrollable fits of private Tourette syndrome.
Because I want to raise your taxes a couple percent?
The tail end of that clip is very telling when he says, oh, just because I want to raise your taxes a couple percent. That is spoken like a true Marxist that thinks that even if it's 1 or 2% of your money, the state, the government, the overlords, the globalists can spend it better than you can and can invest it better than you can. And we know that's anything but the truth. But without a teleprompter, when you listen to Obama, his Marxist roots and his Marxist thinking come out loud and clear. And now for some of my Republican family members on this channel who still aren't convinced that the establishment is really a uniparty, I want you to listen to how BHO right here talks about our 41st president and tell me if this isn't revealing.
I had the pleasure of visiting my buddy 41 briefly this afternoon, and
wow, Democrat 44 considers Republican 41 his buddy. Of course, once again, it doesn't matter if the D or the R was in front of your name. If you're an establishment politician, you are all about the globalist New World Order.
When it comes to foreign policy, the work that President George H.W. Bush did was as important and as deft and as effective a set of foreign policy initiatives as we saw in recent years.
The fact that Barry is a big fan of Herbert Walker's foreign policy tells you everything you need to know about the establishment uniparty. Neocons, neolibs, they have the same globalist mentality and the same plan to wreak havoc and have suffering throughout the world. They are true mongering globalists. Now, don't bail on me yet. I'm going to show you a few clips from The View, and I know it will try the patience of my average subscriber, but bear with me because I think this clip pretty much encapsulates the thinking of the hypocritical Marxist left.
And the National Review is calling out liberal and conservative media for what they call flawed coverage of the Obama administration. Now, they point out that Obama had Border Patrol agents use tear gas at the border, too. And no one was interested in covering it then. What do you think?
What do I think? I think, duh, it's a no-brainer. That's absolute truth.
Is there evidence of that?
Joy, you're killing me. Since when do you care about evidence? You're always pushing this Russian hoax. Where's the evidence there? Oh, I forgot with you leftists, it only works one way. There's only necessary evidence when it's against your people.
Because I saw a picture, I'll show you this photo that's circulating right now. These two little girls, shoeless, fleeing from tear gas. Did they have a photo like that when Obama was in office?
This is, and I know my subscribers, you guys already seen, this is a total manufactured propaganda picture. I mean, seriously. But do you see how The View and the always broadcasting crap are trying to manipulate the masses with fake news?
Well, the Homeland Security data does validate that it happened multiple times, more than once a month, in fact, during the Obama years. Here's another thing I read in that piece. It said, back to stubborn things, guys. I mean, it said, and we can call out, BS on both, to be honest. Because of the president's rhetoric, I think we're shining such a light on this.
This is typical of your leftists, your SJW, your Democrats. When confronted with facts, they say, oh, that may be the case. But then they fall back on their feelings. Feelings over facts when you're on the left. So, yeah, maybe these things happened under Obama, but Trump's rhetoric is worse. And so it makes it worse because Trump's rhetoric about it. I don't even know what to say to this. This level of thinking, we've been saying it for a long time. Dr. Savage said it years ago, that this is a mental disorder. But when you actually keep seeing this over and over again, I almost have to pinch myself to realize that people actually think and feel this way on the left. It's beyond words. It's beyond my comprehension.
But in that piece, it said over a period of 4 months in 2014 under the Obama years, HHS allegedly placed a number of unaccompanied children in the hands of a ring of human who forced them to work on egg farms in and around Ohio, leading to a federal criminal indictment. And according to the indictment, the minor victims were forced to work 6-7 hours a week, 12 hours per day. These are things that we don't talk about.
And when confronted with facts, the other thing the left does is they go to a strawman argument. Whoopi's question was, what do you think about the fact that someone said, or a reporter article said that what Obama did is the same as what Trump did, but it wasn't being reported? That was the question. That is what they're arguing. Now listen to this insanity.
The challenges are very real. Last I checked, President Obama is no longer in office. President Trump is in office, and he's destroying the country. And he's destroying the country. And this but Obama defense, doesn't work for me.
Bottom line is,
it doesn't matter what my person did because it's my person, I like them. But when your person does it, then it's bad. It doesn't matter what my person did. It doesn't matter that I like Barry. We're not talking about Barry. We're talking about Trump.
That's not to say using tear gas. I think it's immoral when you're using tear gas against children.
And once again, this is just another example of it's bad because Orange Man did it.
ProPublica just found that the Trump administration has secretly continued to separate kids from their families. The Obama administration never did that. But I'm not, the ACLU says that kind of separation is unprecedented. So this whole, but Obama did it, but Obama did it. I don't care what Obama did. I don't care what Trump is doing right here, right now.
This, my fellow patriots, my fellow libertarians and conservatives, this is why you will never win a debate with the liberal leftists. It's impossible.
It's strange to say that you don't care that it was happening before. Sorry, I'll let the applause line happen. But and again, not the but I'm saying the coverage didn't even mention that this has been going on since 2012.
But neither did the Republicans. The Republicans have never mentioned this. Listen, with all the stuff they don't...
I can't handle it. I can't handle this. It's just my brain cannot handle this. If I had hair, I would pull it out. I can't even listen to this anymore. This is why you will never logically win a debate, a discussion, or an argument with the leftists, because they abandon all reason, all fairness, all justice. It's all about their feelings. Orange Man bad. It doesn't matter that Barry did it. It's because Orange Man is doing it. It's bad. And that's the only reason why. How do you possibly come back from that in a logical sense? The only way you can debate, argue, or reason with a leftist is if you get to their level and you're all emotion. And who wants to do that? I can't handle this anymore. I can't. I'm pulling my hair out. I'm done. This episode's over. Got another one for you tomorrow. This is Black Conservative Patriot. God bless you, my fellow patriot. God bless America. And God bless our duly elected president, Donald John Trump. Until tomorrow, my patience has been tested, and I no longer have any.
Thanks for joining us on the Black Conservative Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos, there'll be one in each one of these four corners, from the most trending video to my most previous video and other videos that are similar to this topic that you may find interesting. Also, if you want to support this channel and get some more content that's exclusive that you won't find on this platform, just go to bcpextras.com. bcpextras.com. We'll see you in the next video.
He's not a politician. He's one of us. Ever give up.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label, because it's the outsiders who change the world. And it'll make a real and lasting difference.
Roughly 3,000 to 4,000 migrants in 3 caravans behind this one, which is why they're calling it an exodus, not a caravan per se.
We're also learning new information now about FEMA's response to the Camp Fire, as well as the fires burning down in Southern California.
If you don't have the ability to do things such as provide your own food and water and your own commodities to your citizens for the first 48 to 72 hours, I'm asking you to consider pre-event management concepts. If you're waiting on FEMA to run your commodities, that's not the solution. There's no guarantee that FEMA can be right on time to backfill everything you need. With the start of the 6-month hurricane season upon us, FEMA will still be there when disasters strike, but local and state capabilities need to be strengthened. This is why my family chooses to prepare ahead of time with My Patriot Supply, made from the freshest ingredients, sealed for long-term storage that lasts up to 25 years. All these Patriot Pantry foods are grown in the USA and packed fresh. Order your kits at 888-440-8029 or go to preparewithangel.com.
Cereal Brain 2 decodes Q. Bob, whatever happened to Podesta and where is the server? Before we proceed, congratulations to Cindy Hyde-Smith, who brought in the Mississippi Senate seat.
Well, James, I want to talk triggers with you.
Alright, good morning. We're going to see if we can get through this. This is the ABC News. Former President George H.W. Bush dead at 94. December 1st, 2018. This is at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Alright. There's a video. Oh, you know what I actually want to show you? I want to show you the top of Drudge. Alright. There's George. There's George. So yeah, there's George. You know, something about it, you know, he passes at 94. Kindler, gentler nation. So this guy's talking about a kindler, gentler nation. This is the nation you built. Kindler, gentler nation. Let's just get on with it. So here's the ABC spread, okay? Kindler, gentler nation. George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st President of the United States, has died at age 94. His death was announced by his family Friday night. Let's get rid of everything that you see in front of you. Alright, so his death was announced by his family Friday night. The president's health had been in decline in recent months. George Herbert Walker Bush, World War II naval aviator, Texas oil pioneer, and the 41st President of the United States of America, died on November 30th, 2018. He was 94 years old and is survived by his 5 children and their spouses, 17 grandchildren, and 8 grandchildren and 2 siblings. The former president's office said
everybody. Happy Saturday. It's the Christmas countdown now. And this is my sidekick, Truman. And my name is Deplorable McAllister, a.k.a. Linda Paris. Okay, let's try it again. Hello, everyone. It's me, Deplorable McAllister. And this is my sidekick, Truman. And he's wearing his Christmas outfit. It has a hoodie. And he's had it every year. He wears this Christmas outfit and he loves it. He loves it. Can't you tell? He loves it. So, this is me, Deplorable McAllister, aka Linda Paris, and you can see my snarky blog at deplorablemcallister.com. And you can see the stories that I've written for the Southampton Press at historymysteryandmurder.com. And you can see my television broadcast career at lindaparis.com. And I want to thank everyone who supports this channel and my blog in every way, commenting, supporting, liking, and of course people who find it in themselves to donate. I love you all. And this is the beginning of Christmas. And I was torn about this, but I decided we should take Christmas back and make it our own. And besides, good things are going to happen this Christmas. So I have a feeling. So as you can see, there's joy in the air. But some people have no joy. No joy. Like that guy. And Q has been posting like crazy, but I wanted to get this computer up and I wanted to do a bunch of computer maintenance and of course, Truman. There he goes. Magic Pants. Looking at this Q board, you can tell I'm on a different computer, a much bigger screen. So anyway, here we have Joe M. Did Herbert Walker die? And the reason Joe M. is asking the question is because James Comey tweeted. James Comey, our dog Benji died this afternoon because he was a rescue. We didn't know his age today, except very old. He was a friend to an entire big family, as only a dog can be. Goodbye, old soul. Well, what are they saying? He's like 500 years old. He's had so much, you know, baby brains and baby blood. You know, he's eaten so much human flesh and pineal glands and walnut sauce and everything that he was much older than even his, 98 years or something? They trying to say he's like one of these, you know, 500-year-old man or something? Now, the fact that James Comey is tweeting about this makes me think he was McCained. He was McCained. I mean, it's not as if he was going to live a lot longer anyway. Or maybe he would, because it says he died this afternoon. That we didn't know his age today, except very old. Well, what do you think he is, like 200 or something? Is he like eaten so many human brains and drank so much blood and baby's blood that he's like 300 years old or something? He was a friend to an entire big family, I'll say. They all mess around with each other. You know, they're all related to each other. He was a friend to an entire big family, as only a dog can be. Well, was a dog, all right. Goodbye, old soul. So I'm not sure what all this is about, but I think he wouldn't have done this if it was a regular death. That's just my opinion. So it seems sketchy that James Comey's going to be tweeting this out, and everybody knows what he's talking about. And you know, it seems like that old GW might have got McCained. I just wanted to address the whole Bush thing, because I think he might have got McCained. And you notice, we'll know for sure pretty soon if Kasich starts acting up, because I think Kasich thinks he's next. To the person who leaked Huber, Clinton Foundation in the kill box, whistleblower, do not reveal more. Monday, Q. So I always wonder about everything because enjoy the show. And I wonder, okay, to the person who leaked Huber, Clinton Foundation in kill box, was it an intentional leak or was it a real leak? I don't know. But apparently somebody leaked about the Huber whistleblower. Do not reveal more. Monday. Well, if you come up here, this is 2505. Then you go to 2506. To the person who leaked, it's that post. And then, in addition to all those who doubted Sessions and Huber, you will all pay the price very soon in all caps. Well, I never doubt. I never doubt. Don't aim those all caps at me. I'm a believer. I stuck up for it all the way through. Still do. So, 2507 says first and only leak public R.E. Huber activities. First and only leak. First and only leak. See, I believe this whole time Q's been, in control of social media at the very least, but I think fake news now. I'm beginning to think fake news. And this says first and only leak public R.E. Huber activities. So I'm thinking maybe since Patriots are in control, this might be an intentional leak. Just, maybe more rattling cages and stuff. No further details should be released. Warning. No, maybe somebody did leak. But I'm just throwing that out there because you can't take anything that's happening on face value.
What the fuck
There's
is that?
a warning in effect
fucking
here.
lagging faggot. Get your Arab internet off this shit. He's about to go to jail.
Is talking about, it says all this for a LARP. So this is 2514, and it says new Clinton Foundation whistleblower to be announced next Monday, ? And that's, I think, what that was about. In a discussion between Hannity, John Solomon, and Sarah Carter, something new came to light about the Clinton Foundation investigation. Hannity, now there's something percolating that will probably break Monday. You're both smiling. Do either one of you want to give the audience, a little heads up? John, I'll give you some breaking news right now, Sean. Just 2 hours ago, federal prosecutors assigned to John Huber in Utah, and that's in the kill box, reached out to a whistleblower in the Clinton Foundation. That's in the kill box. First time we've seen contact between a Clinton Foundation whistleblower and that particular federal office. That just happened tonight. Hannity, are you talking about the one whose home was raped? John Solomon, no. This is a different whistleblower that you might, and then he stops. You'll learn a lot on Monday, I betcha. Hannity, all right, we'll learn a lot more on Monday. Sarah, last word. Sarah, we need to keep our eyes, and then she fades off, and then Hannity says, what's the preview of Monday's coming attraction? Sarah, big laugh. I think we've got to look forward to on Monday. We've got a lot to look forward to on Monday, Sean. And I think the American people are going to see that there was something, which is in the kill box, happening behind the scenes at the FBS, as well as the Department of Justice. FBI, I think. And Michael Horowitz has been doing a very deep dive into this. There's going to be a lot of breaking news in the next month and in the kill box, in the months to come. Hannity, amazing year of the boomerang. We were right all along, and it continues. And then you can click the link if you want to watch this. Now, when I see this right here, because I was thinking about this, all the people with the previous Q post that said locked and loaded, kept talking about locked and loaded, who is locked and loaded. I kept thinking of who is locked and loaded, and a name came up. And then I woke up and I saw this and I thought whistleblower, because the implication has been that many people are going to come from the dead, rise from the dead. So I was thinking about this guy, Eric Braverman, and I was trying to find out last night if this guy was alive. So I did this Eric Braverman search, and there's no Wikipedia on it. None at all. None at all for this Eric Braverman guy. Now, what's up with that? No Wikipedia on him. So there's no birth date or death date. And there's lots of controversy here. This says Eric Braverman found, but it's only, he has a Twitter account that's active. That's it. Nobody's seen him. Nobody's saying they've seen him. He's not been on any TV shows or anything like that. He just tweeted. That's it. There's a lot on Snopes talking about, just that he was seeking asylum, and I don't trust Snopes at all. I mean, they're definitely a disinformation site. But this here talks about, because I wanted to find out what happened to him. Has anybody found him, seen him? And apparently he got a hold of some people and was trying to be a whistleblower. And there is an email conversation. There he is, Eric Braverman. It says, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, thought Eric Braverman was the source of information leaks to the media. And we know what happened to Seth Rich, and this might be a reason why Seth Rich could be alive. It says, John Podesta thought Eric Braverman was the source of information leaks to the media, according to a leaked email sent March 8, 2015, which was published on October 22nd of this year by WikiLeaks. This email was 1 week after a March 1st Politico article which detailed his struggle against the tenured Clinton staff, entitled, Eric Braverman Tried to Change the Clinton Foundation. Then he quit. The article was described as not a pretty read and forwarded to Podesta less than 24 hours after it was published. While these events occurred in 2015, many believe that the ongoing FBI investigation of the Clinton Foundation may be a factor in Eric Braverman's lack of public activity. The Podesta email releases by WikiLeaks came at the height of campaign season in October and featured proof of many theories related to Hillary Clinton's corruption that occurred during the tenure of Braverman at the Clinton Foundation. So you can see a lot of, did Eric Braverman seek asylum with Russia, which, if you come up here, Snopes, it says Kremlin in turmoil after Clinton Foundation CEO requests asylum. No, he didn't do it. If it's on Snopes, it's not true. If they bother to write about it, it's to debunk it through lie or any other way they can. They just lie. The husband's too busy online, watching porn. So there's lots of things in here. Did he seek asylum? Where is he? He's tweeting, but is it him? So there's a lot of stuff about this guy. This is a mega meme verification. This is a proof of the mega memes folder. Now, I did a video this morning, and I'm going to go ahead and insert that video here, where I talk about this Mueller being on the team, and I'm going to go through the mega memes folder. So this is what I did this morning. So I want to dig right into this because I'm going to start here and I'm going to kind of skip around, mainly because of the mega memes. It does say here on 2513, because there's a bunch of them, and I'm starting in the middle with this one. 2513, Mueller will face charges, R.E. Uranium 1. He is working to save himself. I've been saying this from day one. And the reason I've been saying this is because of a folder that is on the Mega Meme website.
here you can see, it says Mueller investigation. It's a zip file. I unzipped it. And this is old. And I've had this information, but Mueller did such a good job of being a jerk that I wasn't sure, really, even though I have this folder on my desktop and on my external drive and I knew what was in it. I would comment on the chat sometimes that I wasn't sure if Mueller was a white hat or not because of these memes on the Q Mega Meme folder. So today, Q's post this morning, one of Q's posts verifies what I saw on the Q Mega Meme folder, which verifies the Q Mega Memes website. So if Trump was considering Mueller for his FBI head, that means Mueller has been working with Trump the entire time. But this caught my attention right away. Decorated Marine on Trump's side. So I'm like, what? I saw this months ago, months and months and months ago, maybe even a year ago. Decorated Marine on Trump's side. And I just wasn't sure. Trump flipped me. It's from the Mega Meme folder months ago, maybe even a year ago. It's been there so long, I've had it on cold storage. Trump flipped me. Because up until this Q post this morning, it didn't look like Trump flipped him. It could have gone either way. And here's another point. Son, do you honestly believe President Trump met with Bob Mueller to interview him for FBI director? It says White House attorney. This is from John Roberts at Fox. It says at White House attorney Ty Cobb tells at Fox News that special counsel Robert Mueller has completed the interviews of all White House staff he asked to speak with. Source tells Fox News that Mueller investigation is expected to be wrapped up within a few weeks, which didn't happen. And there was this. I mean, I'm in the Mega Memes folder. I'm seeing all this stuff, but I'm not going to put it out there because I don't know what's going on. October the 20th, 2017, Executive Order 13223, Trump's pilot call-up order allows any branch to call up any retired officer to service. Section 2, to allow for the orderly administration of personnel within the armed forces, the following authorities vested in the President are hereby invoked to the full extent provided by the terms thereof. Section 527 of the Title 10 United States Code to suspend the operations of sections 523, 525, and 526. That title regarding officer and warrant officer, warrant officer, strength and distribution. More sections and titles and codes. To suspend certain laws relating to promotion, involuntary retirement, and separation of commissioned officers and strength limitations, and reserve component officer strength limitations. So there was an executive order, and it was a pilot call-up order that allowed any branch to call up any retired officer to service. It says Robert Swan Mueller III. 1968, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, 2 commendation medals. Officer, retired Marine, head of Russia Special Counsel, power to indict anyone and pursue investigation wherever it leads. 1834 Marine Corps law, President can assign any duty to an active duty Marine or Marines. Section 7, and be it further enacted that the commissions of the officers now in the Marine Corps shall not be vacated by this act, and that the President of the United States may, during the recess of the Senate, first by promotions according to rank, then by selections, appoint the officers hereby authorized, which appointments shall be submitted to the Senate at their next session for their advice and consent. Section 8, and be it further enacted that the President be, and he is hereby authorized to prescribe such military regulations for the discipline of the Marine Corps as he may in his judgment deem expedient. And just, I've had all this stuff on my computer or in my possession, and I feel like they delved into military law, and because these people don't know that much about military law, they know about civilian laws. They learned about and study and become familiar with the laws that they need in order to exact their New World Order and their Alinsky plans, their wacky Lucy, Ethel, and Alinsky plans. And so a lot of the stuff doesn't come into play. So I feel like that's what they did. They outplayed them, becoming extremely familiar with the military laws. Someone please stand up for America. Please. I mean, this is what I said. Is Robert Mueller draining the swamp? Lobbyists appear spooked by Russia probe. Hashtag winning. Question. What is Mueller's background? Military? Answer. Marine Corps captain. Served 1968 to 1971. This is called Mueller pineapple. Well, I take a pineapple about this size and let's just say they do what we want. Mueller press conference. Press conferences? Aw, how cute. So, well, I take a stack of $100 bills this high, and every day I stretch this out. This is called Mueller stack stretch. So this is kind of funny. I said he was ideal for this job. I trained him. And here's Kuru Face Pelosi. Wait, what? I thought Mueller was supposed to arrest Trump. She thought Mueller was supposed to arrest Trump. And here's how he got away with it. And him and, look at, Kerry always had that big job. I thought that was an implant. Yeah, Mueller and Kerry played in St. Paul's soccer team. School records suggest neither played football or baseball in their senior years. Well, they wouldn't get to wear these cute little outfits. And here they all three are together. Mueller and Kerry and his jaw sitting there beside him. So, and here is a big cute proof. And it's trying to tell us, open your eyes. It finally came out that Rod, Bob were key players in the uranium scandal. Don't you think POTUS would be tweeting about removal given clear conflict? Why did POTUS meet Bob under the cover of FBI director interview? Bob is unable to serve as director per the law. Gowdy comments on Comey. History will ... POTUS has everything. Not everyone is corrupt. Fewer than you think. And then here's the rest of the, and I'm just going to go over the ones in the red. What authority does POTUS have specifically over the Marines? Why is this important? What is Mueller's background? Military? Was Trump asked to run for president with assurances made to prevent tampering? Why did Mueller meet POTUS one day prior to FBI announcement if Mueller could not be offered director due to previous term limits rules? And then down here, you have, remember, the FBI and military intelligence have an open investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Why did Comey drop this? Who was the FBI director during the Haiti crisis? How many kids disappeared? Oh, brother. How much money sent to the Clinton Foundation under disguise of Haiti relief went to H? Again, good people were forced into bed with this evil under personal and family threats. Could you live with yourself helping to cover up such evil, despicable acts if given a safe way out? So we go back here. Mueller will face charges, RE Uranium 1. He is working to save himself, and of course now I believe it. But up until this day, I wasn't sure. I was not sure. So it says, Mueller will face charges, RE Uranium 1. He's working to save himself. Q. That validates everything I found in the Q Megameme folder. And, you know, I clung on to that even on the chat when everybody was talking about how bad Mueller was. And I said, well, I'm going to reserve my judgment on Mueller based on what's in the Megameme folder. And so, you know, it turned out that the Megameme folder was right. So, why do the Clintons remain in control of many still in power? Blackmail. Blackmail. The Clinton family is working overtime, panic in D.C. Can you just see Smelly Pants running around blackmailing people? Can you just see that crazed maniac, you know, the pantsuit, like walking towards your house? Well, probably not the pantsuit anymore. It's probably like full-on moo-moo. Moo-moo City. You know, like inside the closet. It's like every Merv Griffin, caftan, and moo-moo known to man, Toady Fields moo-moo. The point is, the old gray mare just ain't what she used to be. That's the point. Mueller is beyond reproach going in, so he's the perfect choice. And when you think about it, I mean, he's really putting his life out there on the line. You know, just not that I feel sorry for him or anything, but you know, he's putting his life out there. I mean, if they find out, when they find out, or whatever. And here's another Q proof, but I believe Q is in charge of the fake news now, and they're being forced to overplay their hand, which they're probably happy to do, but I think they've been told there has to be a red wave, or they're all going to die, basically. Because what they've done is eligible for the death penalty, all these people, what they're doing and what they've done. So, all for a lark, right? I mean, there it is right there. More Q proof, if you need it. I don't. So it's spreading, we the people. Pence took it down, but that doesn't matter. He put it up. And this, 2517, says Anon's geographically located the last picture, which is in the kill box. Chongqing, China, Hyatt Regency. Players 8. Watch the news. Q. And that ABC thing, you know, I mean, to me, it looks like they allowed them to, they knew what was going to happen and they allowed them to get away with it. If so, there were 8 players. But whether that's the case or not, whatever was involved at the whether it was an assassination attempt, and they knew it was going to happen, and somehow or another, you know, they were able to get them in the act of doing it. And, you know, players 8, there were 8 people involved. Watch the news. So I have no doubt we'll find out what it was.
You're still gonna lose, you fucking retarded fuck.
Look here, Russia. Do not look here. China. The Chinese have been all up in our business. And here is the link worth 43 minutes of your time. Fake news will never report it. Important to understand going forward. Facts matter. And I admit I haven't had a chance to watch this because I had to redo this whole computer right here. This took hours. Anyway, I'm not crying about it at all. 2519 says Pence shares a picture of himself meeting a SWAT officer with a QAnon conspiracy patch. Conspiracy patch. Conspiracy patch. Conspiracy patch. Conspiracy patch. These people. But I do think that Patriots are in control. QAnon's in control. So all this stuff is, they're telling them to go to do this. Because these people, this is the thing. These Democrats, these dumbasses that are left. I'm going to try not to call them dumbasses, but it's going to be hard. Because everybody, the whole world is waking up and these people are just like, no, no, no. This is like, it has to be a slow drip for these people. It has to be a slow drip. They have to trick these dumbasses into believing that they came up with it all themselves. So they have to show them, outrageous censoring, and they have to cause these people to dance. Dance, puppets, dance, So that's what they're doing, I think. I think Q is making them dance. And because some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Conspiracy patch. What is a coincidence? Why is the Washington Post leading the attack? REQ. How many articles have been written? REQ. Tons. Who owns the Washington Post? Jeff Zucker. So they're ramping up the attacks, I think, because we've got to trick these dumbasses into thinking they came up with the idea themselves. Otherwise, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to anybody. They have to see it for themselves and go, hey, wait a minute. Something has to drop inside that head of theirs. I don't know if it's going to happen. It says CNN now reporting on it too. And this thing, I looked at this. It's just, it makes me mad because conspiracy patch, QAnon patch, QAnon conspiracy patch. Conspiracy patch. And it's so important to write about it when a officer wears a conspiracy patch. That's front page news to these people. So on that note, I love ending on this great big photograph of our amazing president that I love so much. Oh God, I love him so much. I got a new Trump hat. I should have wore it, but I wanted to wear my Christmas hat instead. And, he's just the best president ever. Lower taxes, more jobs, better trade deals. We're going after the bad guys. He's going to drain the swamp. Merry Christmas. I love this man. And on that note, this is Deplorable McAllister, signing off.
Daddy for Latino on Twitter.
Cowboy 13 here, check it out. So I'm sitting out in my shop. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Black Friday, as a matter of fact. And I tell you what, I went all out. Black Friday. I got two of these things. These are awesome. Charging handles from Primary Arms. Got these on a deal, $28 and change for each one of them. I needed some charging handles, so.
And why are you looking at me, my ugly face? I have some beauty on the table. Take a look at that, would you? Yeah, that certainly surpasses my looks, doesn't it? M1A, M14, and a Garand. It doesn't get a lot better, does it? Wow. We're going to do a little comparison here of the two. And I didn't order these from Buds, you know, but be sure you check out budsgunshop.com. And if you're not a member of the NRA, go to our link in the description and join, please, okay? And we appreciate Federal helping us. We're going to shoot Federal ammo in both of these. I might shoot some Lake City. I don't know. I've got some Federal loaded up in clips, and got some Lake City that I bought loaded, okay? okay, from 1969, I think. And we're going to just give you basics of the difference between the Garand and the M1A and M14, all right? Been meaning to do this for 7 or 8 years, so we thought we'd get right on it. I've owned both for a good while. I don't know everything there is to know about them, but if we don't get anything else covered, I want to at least, for new shooters and people that maybe have had one but haven't had the other, just kind of give you a little summary of just the 4 or 5 basic differences, what you get, maybe a little bit about the time frame, all right? Then we may talk about a few other things. We don't go past 45 minutes, okay? But that's the basics. So you got the M1 Garand, hero of World War II, right? Okay, and even in the Korea, but the hero of World War II, and that's why it is so, one reason, it's so revered. You know, Patton called it the greatest battle implement of all time. And of the times, he was, I think, correct. And you might think it still is, okay? Some people do. You know, this thing is not obsolete. It shoots a 30-06, which is similar to a 308. That's where the 308 kind of came from. And it still works. Gets the job done. It's not high capacity, but it holds 8 powerful rounds, and you can reload it pretty quickly if you have any experience at all with it. Okay? Great sights, powerful rifle, pretty reliable, and all of that. Notice the guns are not all that different. That's the thing. There's not a ton of difference between the two. We'll talk about what's different, okay? So that was around, I think, adopted around 1936, I believe, in that vicinity. And for about 20 years, that was I guess, the infantry, the issue rifle. All right? Now we had the carbine, we had a lot of the firearms, but this was basically our battle rifle for about 20 years, okay? Officially. And but I think I read that around 1944 we were actually working on upgrading it and improving it. So even before the war was over. And what we ended up with is the M14. And really, some might disagree, but the M14, M1A, this is basically an improved Garand. Now, you may disagree with that word improved, but that's what it really is meant to be, the improved Garand, all right? The biggest difference is, which maybe most of you or a lot of you already know, is that it takes a box magazine, and you can see it sticking out there. There's nothing in the chamber. It does have a couple of rounds in it, but that magazine loads like more like, typical, magazine that you're aware of. We are in a lot of firearms, whereas the Garand's a different system. But that magazine, and then they changed the gas system on it. Okay, a few other changes too, but those are the big ones. It's got a shorter, I think it's a short stroke gas system. forward sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, but you don't want to get your thumb caught in there, so you have your hand to get your finger there. Whatever's comfortable for you is a smart thing to do. Okay, and your safety is right there. Push it forward, and you're ready to go. And some of you have seen this in action. This was made during World War II and carried. I think 43. Yeah, I think 43. So it was used in World War II.
noticed that this new development between city spaces is taking a lot of different kinds of jobs therapeutic. And it's operating on an emotional level. And it seems to be resonating with kids even at the high school, elementary level. I try to talk to my nieces and nephews. It's really evident. There doesn't seem to be a foothold for a logical conversation about this. Yes. Because emotions seem to completely fill the void. You seem to agree with that. So what do you think is creating that environment? Because where I'm seeing it, it's a very difficult thing to even have a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, what's creating the environment of feelings is basically that we're the most prosperous nation in the history of humanity. So, I mean, if you've ever dealt with kids with very wealthy parents, very often they tend to be oversensitive and easily offended. And these are the kids of wealthy parents, namely the United States. So, rough life they don't. So what exactly is going to be their world-beating change? And there's nothing more empowering to these kids than saying the change that you seek is about you. Right? It's not even about the society at large. It's about you. Because your feelings are now our gauge of success or failure as a society. I mean, that's a pretty empowering message. I mean, it's almost a bizarre leftist incarnation of Walt Whitman's "I contain multitudes." You know, what happens to me is what happens to all society. My feelings matter than anything else, and more than anything else in you. Which is why, by the way, when you do argue with kids who are into this sort of stuff, it is imperative to actually use emotional arguments. Logic does not work. And that doesn't mean that you have to make false arguments, but you can say you're being a fascist little... Right? And that's okay. Because the reality is they are being fascist little. And so that's okay. And the reason that is because what they're really doing, what kids like what now does, is they make emotionally based arguments about your character. You're a bad person, right? The safe space argument, the microaggression argument, isn't even saying something untrue. It's that you are a bad human being. And the only way to defeat you're a bad human being in an argument is say, no, actually you're a bad human being for suggesting that I'm a bad human being without evidence. Only a jerk does that. Right? And then once we get beyond the character arguments, then we can argue about logic. But if it's going to be character arguments all the way to the well, then there's no way to be a character argument for logical arguments. Mitt Romney discovered this in 2012. Right? You cannot make a logical argument and win people over while your opponent is saying that you killed people with cancer. Right? I mean, which was the actual argument against Mitt Romney. He fired people so that later their wives would die of cancer. This is the Obama campaign, and Mitt Romney's campaign was that guy's incompetent. Okay, that's not... So we're going to vote for the guy who kills people with cancer with his magic Wall Street powers? Or the guy who smiles Jay Confident? Right? So character arguments do matter. This is why I encourage conservatives to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Logical arguments are not going to defeat this microaggression mentality. The only thing that defeats that is showing these kids that what they are doing is actually immoral. It's not just ineffective, it's not just counterproductive, it's immoral. It is immoral to call the police if someone hurts your feelings. It makes you a bad human being if you call the police because somebody hurt your feelings. It makes you a fascist thug who wants to use a gun against someone. When you speak to them like that, at least you can embarrass them enough for just a moment and maybe there's a gap.
We were visiting and he's in the military over Christmas, and he asked the question, if we're homeschooled, should we be saving money to send them to college? You described a situation. He seems to sense that this is maybe not a place for his
and then use all their victories against them. Simple.
Speech was that sooner or later they're going to have to come out of college and live with the reality of life, making a living and doing these types of things. There's enough kids, millennials, that have now come out of college. How are they faring?
They're shocked. I mean, their kids are now suing their colleges. It's an actual lawsuit. Suing their colleges because they're saying, I was promised a job, I was promised an income after I come out of here. Right? The Occupy Wall Street movement was all disenchanted college kids who got out after that lesbian dance theory major and thought they were going to make six figures somewhere. And it turns out nobody pays to watch them theorize about lesbian dance. So, they end up, going and living in tents in Central Park and pooping on themselves. So it's life is a rough teacher. What the left has tried to do is extend kind of the period of adolescence indefinitely. Right, so now you're 26 and you're on your parents' health care. Okay, by age 26, I've been married for a couple of years, and I was 2 years away from having a kid, and I already had 2 degrees and 4 published books. It turns out, by the way, that's actually, I'm not even a success story if you go back 50 years, right? 50 years by the age of 26, you were supposed to be fully ensconced in your job. You're supposed to have like 3 kids by that point. What we've done is prolonged adolescence indefinitely. So what Obama's goal is, what the left's goal is, what Bernie Sanders, Hillary, the same goal. And the same goal is to extend college out. Right? College is not a place that's kind of a break from reality. College is the new reality. So you have to make all of human life like college. And this is what they think Europe is, which is why Europe is collapsing. Europe is going to collapse. And it's being invaded by foreign forces, and the barbarians are at the gates. And Europe is going to fall apart, and it is falling apart. So we can play this game, but it's not going to end well. And the problem is that because the education is so poor, instead of reacting against their teachers in college who told them everything was going to be hunky-dory, instead of having the kind of all quiet on Western Front moment, where the former student goes back to his classroom after World War I, he's in the middle of World War I, he goes back and he yells at his professor and he says, you're telling all these kids the war hung thing, you're telling them the war is awesome. Instead of them going back and yelling at their professors, they said, no, it just shows my professor was right, because society is unjust. Right, the lack of my $100,000 salary, that's because society is mean, and so we have to transform the society. And that's why young people, again, 40% back speech codes in American life. This is why I think the last poll is nearing or over 40% of young people are okay with socialism, like the actual socialism, because they don't know anything. They've been taught stupidity, and how they feel is all that matters. When there's a video that's going around the internet in all sorts of play about income inequality. Income inequality is the stupidest issue. Income inequality means nothing. Right? I mean, I have a lot of income inequality with Bill Gates, but I'm doing pretty well, and I don't care that Bill Gates is doing really well. The only thing we should all care about is that there are poor people. We should figure out how poor people can do better, not how to make Bill Gates less rich. But this video is going around and saying, here's a poll of what Americans think the wealth distribution should look like, and here's what the wealth distribution actually looks like. And I watched this video in bewilderment, and young people love it. I watched this video in bewilderment saying, who told you that you get to tell the universe how wealth is distributed? Right? Who told you that you have a moral say as to how wealth is distributed? It's immoral, it's evil, it's wrong. You're going to have to steal people's labor from them. But people are not told this, and so they think that their own subjective vision of what reality should look like should govern what reality actually looks like. And it's only later, after 80 years of communist failure, that they realize, and hundreds of millions of people dead, that they realize, that was a bad idea. For like 10 years, then they go right back to it.
Could you please explain the unholy alliance between the left and the forces of the Muslim supremacists, considering that the premises and the principles of both of them are mutually incompatible?
Okay, so they're not mutually incompatible to point A, they are to point B. What I mean is that it's a timeline. The left wants to tear down Western civilization because it thinks it's unequal. The radical Muslims want to tear down Western civilization because they think it's evil. So to the point of tearing down Western civilization, they're pretty much on the same page. It's where they go from there that's a problem. Right? One side wants to build the caliphate, and the other side wants to build a communist utopia. The reason that the left is routinely, and it's almost invariable, the left ends up siding with the world's worst human beings in every situation, is because, again, if you just Muslims, for example, are poor is because they've spent all the money that has been given to them, hundreds of billions of dollars, all the money that's been given to them over the course of decades, and they've spent it on terrorism, and they've spent it on stocking it away in their bank accounts, Yasser Arafat and Mahmoud Abbas, and they spent it on garbage, and they spent it on anti-Israel propaganda. That's the real reason they're poor. But the left looks at it and they say, they're poor. That means they're virtuous. This is why I hate it, really despise it, when Republicans do the whole, I'm a better person because I have rags to riches story. You weren't a better person when you're poor. And no one is a better person just because they're poor. By the way, no one's a better person because they're rich. All that wealth is a measure of how many voluntary exchanges you engaged in a free market. It's all that wealth is. But the idea for the left is that all inequality is evil. Therefore, the people who are unequal at the top are evil, and the people at the bottom are virtuous. Which is why you'll hear people on the left say things like they like small business, but they hate people who are big business, like the Walmart family. The Walmart family, they're terrible. But were they terrible when they were just a family living in the middle of nowhere? When exactly did they transition over into evil? Right, when they became successful enough, because their success meant, by necessity, according to the leftist worldview, they were depriving others of their fair share. Bernie Sanders said this right after winning New Hampshire the other night. And this is Bernie Sanders' entire thing. He says the principle of America is the principle of fairness, which makes me want to vomit and never stop vomiting. The principle of America is not fairness of outcome. And we were talking about fairness of outcomes. It's unfair that 1% of the population lives with more wealth than 90% of the rest of the population. And well, maybe, or maybe it's not unfair, because it turns out that 1% of the population is hiring the other 90% of the population to actually provide their services and labor.
We have time for one more question.
Hi, Mr. Shapiro. I'm a community college teacher, and so I pay union dues to the CTA and the NEA, and as you can imagine, I'm not real happy about that.
Don't let them get a hold of this tape. I'm gonna blur out his face.
No, right. Do you have any hope? I believe the Supreme Court recently heard oral arguments, Friedrichs versus CTA. Any hope that might come out?
Yeah, I mean, there is hope that might come out the right way. It really depends on, whether Justice Kennedy had a solid ballot. I mean, basically, all Supreme Court arguments basically boil down to this vital question of whether he took his Metamucil. Justice Kennedy theoretically has an overriding philosophy of what he thinks of as individual liberty. So anything that allows you to do more stuff on your own is something we should allow. So he was in favor of gay marriage, it allows gay people to get married. He's in favor. He's against campaign finance reform because he thinks people should be allowed to spend money on politics. So presumably, theoretically, he could vote the right way on this case, saying teachers should be allowed not to have to give their money to a union that uses that money to push certain political causes, which is what the case is about. So it's possible that Justice Kennedy comes out the right way. I hate that we live in a system where we have to wait for the Qadi on the Hill to dictate to us what our lives are going to be like in perpetuity. It's disgusting to me. It's a perversion of the constitutional order. And I wrote at Harvard Law School, I wrote my entire Harvard Law School third-year paper on the idea that Madison versus Marbury is wrongly decided. That Marbury versus Madison is wrongly decided. And that basically the Supreme Court should not have the power of judicial review because the founders didn't believe any human being should be invested with that much authority to destroy the Constitution if they saw fit. And in fact, Hamilton clearly writes in his Federalist 78, it talks specifically about how if the court just starts to exercise will over constitutionalism, over basic philosophy of government, then it's betrayed its entire purpose. So it's sad to me that conservatives have been relegated to waiting around. And by the way, this is why the saddest thing we have all about this election is that if we lose this election or if Donald Trump wins the election, if any of these things happen, if conservatives lose the election, there are at least 2 justices who are probably going to step down, maybe 3 or 4, in the next 4 to 8 years. And so we could be living under the rule of Elena Kagan, who I know, and she's not someone whose rule you really wish to be living under her. So I guess that's all we have time for, but thank you very much. Really appreciate it. 13.3% for people making more than $1 million. We've raised the income tax temporarily my entire lifetime. And our income taxes are actually more volatile than other states because our income tax doesn't just cover income, normal income, it also covers investment gains and partnership income, dividends and interest and rent. When the economy goes south, and the amount of receipts to the government actually drops pretty radically. All in all, California is not only a progressive state, it is the most progressive state. People making more than $500,000 in this state pay more than half of all taxes in the state. The top 1% pay 50% of all personal income tax receipts, which means that our state, 150,000 people in this state, pay the taxes for 40 million people. That is how the economics of the state of California works. Now, of course, Governor Brown has approved. Sorry, like, didn't get enough with him 10 years before I was born. The state has so many new ideas. We're like, you know what would be a great idea? Let's bring back Jerry Brown. I know we got a lot of Futurama fans in the room, but the disembodied head of Jerry Brown will be governor in 2040 in this state. Governor Brown has approved a 12-cent gas tax hike plus increases on the annual vehicle fee. Have you seen your infrastructure improving in this state? No. No one has ever seen a pothole filled in the state of California. We still don't have the proper infrastructure for ensuring water supply, which is great. We had this big drought, and then everybody was supposed to stop using sprinklers and stop taking showers. And so Jerry Brown, in response to that drought, instead of building new infrastructure, didn't do anything. And so that's great. We also have the highest statewide sales tax rate in the United States, 7.25%. The only saving grace in California is Prop 13, so naturally the left wants to destroy Prop 13. It's also not helping, because even though our property taxes remain low in the state of California, rent control and regulations have made it almost impossible for middle-class people to live in this state. This state is bifurcating between people who are wealthy and people who are poor more than any other state in the nation. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, families in the Northern California counties of San Francisco, San Mateo, and Marin who make $117,000 a year are eligible to live in low-income housing projects. That's how crazy rentals are in the state of California. California's median home value has increased by almost 80%, $550,000 since 2011, while half of renters are spending more than 30% of their income on housing, which is great for folks who bought homes 20 years ago. It's great for my parents. It's good for people who can afford a home now, but for people who are trying to build a middle-class family, it's a terrible place to raise your kids, which is one of the reasons why between July 2016 and July 2017, we lost over 140,000 people from this state to other states in domestic migration. And that, of course, is happening thanks to terrible policies, because it's a great place to live and to work for all of us. And then people ask me, what's the future of the state of California? I say, well, there's the short-term plan and the long-term plan. So the short-term plan is people wake up, they stop being idiots, they stop voting for Democratic policies that wreck the state, and then everything gets better. That's the short-term plan. The long-term plan is that basically everything continues to go as it was historically gone. Conservatives go to a particular area that nobody's found yet, and make it really, really nice, and then the left comes in, and they destroy it, and then conservatives move to another area, not quite as beautiful, and then the left figures out that they destroy the area they were in, and then they move like locusts upon the land. They move to the place where the conservatives are next, so they'll move to Texas and they'll rep Texas, and then conservatives say, okay, what's left? And like Wyoming, okay, fine, and then they all move up to Wyoming, and they continue to make Wyoming awesome, and then the left follows on Wyoming. The good news is, by this point, California has been completely abandoned. So then we just come right back in, take over Barbara Streisand's house, and make the state great again. Which is good news for like my grandkids, but in the short term it ain't that great. Our exorbitant taxes that we pay in the state are not actually paying for anything remotely approaching the blowout levels of spending that we have in this state. When the economy downturns in this state, the fallout is really terrible because the amount of spending that we are moving, the amount that we take in is so exorbitant. In 2009, we actually had to issue IOUs to people on tax refunds because we just didn't have the money to let people have their own money back. We had to fire about 30,000 teachers when the economy downturned. State workers had to social and cultural problems that plague the state. Because here's the truth. All of the economic prosperity based in California or in the United States as a whole is based on a virtuous population living in freedom. Because when a virtuous population collapses, free market economics are not enough to save that state. Because the next call is always what's going to go the gap. If you don't have a virtuous population taking care of each other, the next thing is, okay, well, we need to blow out spending to take care of each other, and then we need to tax to take care of each other, and then nobody wants to pay that tax, and they start avoiding the tax. This is how you destroy a powerful economy. But John Adams suggested that the U.S. Constitution is built for moral and religious people only. But the truth is, free markets were also built for immoral and religious people only. And you can see this in other areas of the world, where when government regulation is removed, but people are not used to actually abiding by rule of law is not enough. Fascinating study was done about people paying parking tickets at the UN in New York. So the UN, which should immediately be blown up and built into a Trump Tower, it's I'm not for eminent domain, but I'm totally fine with that one. The way that it works is that if you have diplomatic immunity and you work for the UN, or you're an ambassador, you don't have to pay your parking tickets. You have diplomatic immunity. But it turns out that certain ambassadors from certain countries rack up parking tickets at a faster rate than they used to pay them. And it's precisely who you would think who actually does pay those parking tickets. It's folks from Japan, it's folks from Germany, it's folks from Great Britain. And then there are folks from second world and third world countries, and they don't pay their parking tickets even as they rack them up. Because in a lot of areas of the world, we're privileged to live in a country where people actually abide by the rules of law. But that is not usual in world history, and it's not usual on planet Earth right now. If you go to most countries on planet Earth, just get simple things done, you have to bribe them. That's something you don't have to do in the United States. Right? In order to make things happen here, all you basically have to do is pay your fees and then abide by the rule of law. But what happens when people stop abiding by those things? What happens? What happens if people no longer care about their neighbors and the social fabric collapses? When it becomes all about what can I take from everybody else, not what can I make for myself and my family, and then what do I have to help my neighbors? Virtue undergirds the free market system. And without virtue, libertarianism is not enough. Which means that we have to talk about the social and cultural problems that are plaguing this state. So our economic problems pale next to those cultural and social problems. So one of those problems that folks simply don't want to talk about, obviously, is the problem of illegal immigration. Now, I am a libertarian on immigration. I think that if people want to work hard and come to the United States, and they want to build a life for themselves, they should certainly be able to. My ancestors came here in 1907, and they came here with nothing. They didn't speak the language. They literally left all the property they had back in Lithuania, and they came here, and they were able to make something of themselves, because in a free market economy, a free society, that's what happens. The problem is, once you create all the social safety nets we have in the United States now, you have to worry about those who are going to take advantage of those safety nets, even if they didn't come into the country intending to do so. And you also have to worry about levels of assimilation. How many folks are actually going to engage with Western civilization's views of rights in a world where multicultural ethos is supposed to predominate? When my great-grandparents came to the United States, there was no social safety net. This meant they had to learn English. It meant they had to pick up pretty quickly the way things worked. And it meant they had to integrate into society. Well, because we as a society have decided that it's mean and nasty to talk about the melting pot and talk about assimilation, that means that we've created bastions of various cultures around the country. And that's okay in some ways, and it's not okay in others. It's okay when it comes to food, it's okay when it comes to a certain extent, obviously, worship, it's okay when it comes to a lot of, but there's certain core values, Judeo-Christian values that have a 3,000-year history, and if you don't pick those things up, you cannot go through them. Illegal immigration creates serious economic problems. California considers itself a sanctuary state, which is just foolish policy, a state in which law enforcement officials refuse to work with federal authorities to capture and support illegal immigrants. So it's pretty amazing how safe politicians will suggest that the states ought to obey the federal government when it comes to abortion rules suddenly become real states' writers when it comes to illegal immigration. And there are hundreds of thousands, as I say, of wonderful, wonderful people living in California who came to the United States illegally. We all live in California, so I'm sure that most of us in this room know people who were illegal immigrants, became illegal immigrants, or who are still illegal immigrants and want to build lives for themselves. And I'm very sympathetic to those folks. But it is willfully blind to pretend that California has not borne inordinate costs of illegal immigration, mostly thanks to Democratic and liberal pandering. Again, if it were just people coming across the border to work and then sending money home, or coming across to work and then leaving again, immigration creates an entire underclass of people who very often cannot get the necessities that they need, and so they're living on the street. A significant percentage of those homeless are illegally in the country, again, according to the LA Times. We know that illegal immigration poses a serious cost in terms of gang violence. Talk to anybody in the LAPD and they will tell you this. MS-13, which President Trump likes to talk about, is not in fact a myth. There are some 10,000 members in the United States. Last May, 21 members of the gang were arrested in LA. More than half of those were illegal immigrants. And so there's a lot of problems with illegal immigration we have to talk about. There's a lot of fallout from that as well. But that's just the start of the social problems, obviously. California has a significant crime problem. Back in 2014, nearly 60% of Californians, apparently high on legal weed here, voted in favor of Proposition 47, which sought to thin out jails and prisons by downgrading many non-violent, non-serious felonies to misdemeanors, which basically allows police departments across the state to claim that crime rates are going down when in fact crime rates are going up, which has been a serious problem for the LAPD for years. People misclassifying crime, refusing to suggest that crimes are taking place when we know that crimes are taking place. Since Prop 47 went into effect, arrests across the state of California are down 30%. Violent crime in Los Angeles is up 40%. How lax are Democrats on crime and illegal immigration? Well, in March 2018, the Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf actually issued a public warning that ICE officers were operating in the area. She knew that ICE was there to try and capture folks who were illegal immigrants, many of them committing crimes other than illegal immigration. And she issued a public warning to illegal immigrants saying ICE officials were operating in the area. Within a month, the three went on to commit serious crimes, including robbery, drunken driving, and spousal abuse. So all of this is to suggest that Democrats' view of how this state should work is not really sympathetic to the citizens of the state. It is more sympathetic to broader concerns about winning new voting populations. And that is appropriate. And then we get to the deepest problem of all in the state of California, and that goes back to the lack of virtue that I talked about. Here is what holds up, again, the pillar that holds up, the foundational stone that holds up Western civilization, holds up free market economics, holds up innovation, holds up prosperity, is the family. It is the family, it is the religious community, it is the religious schools. That is what is holding up all of this. And when those things go away, then the states collapse, civilizations collapse. In slow motion, it doesn't happen right away, it happens over time. But again, when you remove God from the equation, God is removed. And the answer and what follows is almost invariably incredibly ugly in a relatively short period of time. The state of California has decided that God must be forcibly expelled from the state, and particularly Democrats in the state legislature. And this is true on issues ranging from same-sex marriage to abortion. Now, when it comes to same-sex marriage, I've always suggested that one of the big problems is that as soon as same-sex marriage was legalized in the state, the next move by Democrats would be to basically outlaw religious institutions. And the next move would be to say to churches, you can no longer have 501c3 status because you're discriminating against same-sex couples. The religious schools would be forced to violate their own precepts or lose their 501c3 status. And then, if they were 501c3s and they were operating as normal corporations or normal LLCs, they would then be subject to state anti-discrimination laws, which means they could be shut down. And it will not stop there. Then the state will determine that if you teach religious values in your own home, you're teaching discrimination in your home, and you have not met the basic function of education, and therefore homeschooling will be next on the list. And this is the way this is going to go for the next 10 to 15 years in this state. And it's starting extraordinarily quickly. And it's not just true on same-sex marriage. It's also true on issues like transgenderism. The state of California is pushing hard the notion that men and women are identical, which is absolutely asinine and ascientific. It is anti-scientific. And there will be significant moves made in this state because this state is wildly left. You start taking kids away from parents, and parents do not agree to go along with the mental disorders of their children. If they seek solutions to mental disorders like gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. If your 5-year-old comes home from school one day, a boy, and he says, I want to be a girl, then you say, well, that's not a thing. And now we're going to, go see a psychiatrist and talk about this. Or maybe you don't even have to do that. Maybe your kid, when he's 5 years old, doesn't know anything. 5-year-old is dumb. Right? I speak as the father of a 4.5-year-old and 2.5-year-old. Kids, like when I say my 4.5-year-old daughter is really before they even hit puberty. And that the solution to any of this is for them to mutilate their bodies. If I don't do that, the state is somehow going to step in and stop me. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that's going to drive every religious person in the state and every sane person in the state out of the state court. Okay, but this is unfortunately what's being promulgated. So in June 2016, California Democrats actually proposed Senate Bill 1146 that would have prevented colleges from discriminating, it's always under the rubric of anti-discrimination law, from discriminating based on gender expression, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Representative Ricardo Lara, who is one of the most radical members of the California Assembly, he said these universities have a license to discriminate, and students have absolutely no recourse. Addressing this issue is long overdue. Now, if that had become law, then the next move would have been to shut down religious colleges. Because if a religious college said, listen, we're not interested in its private women's college, we're not interested in a man who needs he's a woman to our private women's college, then they would have been sued by the state for discrimination and maybe shut down. Right? That is the next step. In 2017, Democrats proposed Assembly Bill 2943, which would have made it unlawful business practice. This one's insane. Okay, this one came very, very close to passing. It would have made it unlawful business practice to engage in a transaction intended to result, or that results in the sale or lease of goods or services to any consumer that advertise, offer to engage in, or do engage in sexual orientation change efforts with an individual. That term includes efforts to change behaviors or gender expressions. Okay, so let me explain what that means, because that's legalistic jargon. Okay, so putting on my lawyer hat for just 1 second, what that means is that if you publish an article, if you publish an article in the state of California that said a man cannot be a woman, could have been prosecuted. If you distribute a book in the state of California, you know, like a book, kind of famous, right? Like the most sold and also stolen book in Western civilized history, the book upon which all Western civilization is built. If you sold that as an establishment, and that book did not have certain pages ripped from Romans, Leviticus, and Corinthians, then that book would theoretically be violative of this assembly, because it would have encouraged sexual orientation change efforts with an individual or efforts to change behavior for gender expression. Because it turns out that biblical worldviews on these particular issues don't run in favor of the social left. They were this close to passing. Our public schools are, of course, already bastions of social leftism in the state of California. California state law mandates the teaching of LGBT history from K through 8. So you'd be sending your 6-year-old to a public school, and suddenly they're learning about Harvey Milk. Advocates want people to learn about Steve Jorgensen when they're in 2nd grade. These sorts of moves to indoctrinate children in socially leftist politics do have an impact. And why we want to take them into public schools and put them in private schools, obviously. And as I say, the next step on the left, the next step on their hit list is those private schools. And then you take your kid out of there, you put them in a home school, the next step on that hit list is a home school. Because this is a fervent agenda on behalf of the left that believes that they know better. They know better than you how to raise your children. And if you raise your children wrong, you write their worldview every time you teach your child that living in a traditional, moral way with regard to family and sexual relationships is something good and positive. You're violating